Hey y'all, here to vlog about Love and Hip Hop episode, season 3, episode, I believe it's 7, because I didn't vlog about it last week. So I'm gonna vlog about this one, and then I'm gonna do another vlog for the one that came on today. So I'll get to it. So, last week's episode, it started off with, Mendices and Yandy, and Yandy confronted Mendices about, Maurice and Mendices fighting, and Mendices is like, well, if that's your cousin, why is it such a problem for her to take down a picture? Yandy is like, that's my family. It's a problem when you put the hands on my family and blah blah blah. So, I basically felt like Yandy is choosing her family over her man. And my whole thing is, like I said, I think I said it in a vlog before. You chose to have a baby with Mendices. So automatically when you have a baby with somebody, depending on the relationship, but if this is somebody you want to be your husband in the future, that's your family. Mendices is your family. Not Maurice, they're your family, but still, like, Mendices is your family. He's the father of your child. So he has to come. It's not that he has to come first, but don't treat him like he's not important. Like he's not important in your life, because like he said, he's been with you for 6 years, and Maurice, your cousin, just suddenly popped up 3 months ago. That ain't your cousin. That's your play cousin. Be for real. And anyway, if that is your cousin, why is he taking pictures of you with your ass all in the camera? If he really wanted to take pictures of you showing off, your exercise regimen or whatever, he could have took a picture of you from a different angle. He could have took a picture of you from the front too, so we saw your face. Why he had to take a picture of your ass? So I completely understand where Mendices was coming from. I don't feel like Mendices was wrong at all. Yandy is wrong, because she treated Mendices like, well, you ain't my husband, so why should you have a problem with it? Still, the fact remains, y'all got a baby together. So the fact that he's now the father to your son, he has a place in your life right now. I could see if it was a dead and done relationship where he was just your baby's father, then you can say that. But y'all are in a relationship together. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Mendices, I'm with Mendices. So then we go to Winter and L'Oreal, and Winter feels like L'Oreal is she feels like L'Oreal is talented, but her talent isn't going anywhere. And then, L'Oreal is like, she feels like that Winter gets with people in the industry just for their money and not for their love. And L'Oreal is she would be in a relationship for love. And I mean, I get it. It sounds legit, because it seems like all Winter is about is creating a buzz and making a name for herself. Like, she don't care who she hurts in the process. So she brought up that she has her book coming out soon, and she told her that the title was Game Over. And L'Oreal was like, well, am I in this book? She was like, yeah. You're in the book. And L'Oreal is like, wow, you being secretive about it, but I can't wait to read it or whatever. So L'Oreal was just worried for Winter that it was going to spark controversy. So they were talking about that, and Winter is like, well, I'm not worried about it. It's not that serious. It's just a book. But you need to be. Superhead did the same thing, and when she went to her book signing at Barnes and Nobles, I think it was on Court Street she went to, I think, when her book first came out, and she got shot at. So yeah, you need to, because when you put people's names in books without their permission, that starts a riot. Like, as soon as her book came out, everybody had something to say. Everybody was pissed. So yeah, you need to be careful of that. So then we go to Rich and Peter Gunz, and they're discussing the whole Erica Mena situation. And Rich is like, I'm basically caught between a pimp and a hard place, where he feels like he wants to manage her. He wants to give her an opportunity, but it's like she ain't signed no contract. She's not doing nothing. So Peter Gunz is basically like, well, I have the solution. Get rid of her. And that's what everybody's been telling him from jump. Erica Mena is not the business. Like, she's not gonna, what the hell? Is a bug flying around here? she's not gonna, help your label go up. Like, all she's gonna do is bring you down. And that's what it seemed like she's been doing. Like, Erica is fucking herself over, basically. Like, that girl don't want a career because her attitude is disgusting. So, Peter Guns is like, you already mix business and personal, so now you got to figure out how you can get that back. And he's like, the only solution is to let her go, personally and business wise. You have to let her go. So Rich is like, oh man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So he got a lot to think about. So Mendices is he's with his artist Vado, and they're discussing the whole picture thing. And when Mendices and Maurice got into that fight, so he's telling Vado, yeah, I put my hands on him because he was getting real disrespectful and flexing and whatnot, and he made me feel a certain way. So when he said he wasn't taking the pictures down, I put my hands on him. So Vado was like, well, you do need to apologize. I mean, he was wrong for stepping, like, jumping at you like that. But you do need to apologize for the simple fact of apologize off the strength of Yandy. And Mendices is like, okay, I get it. Like, if I apologize, then it'll show that I'm trying, to Yandy. And he's like, yeah. So Mendices said, okay, he'll apologize only off the strength of Yandy. So the next scene goes to Jenn and Consequence, and they're discussing the meetup with Rocky. They're discussing Cons' meetup with Rocky. And, Cons is telling Jenn about everything that Rocky said, about how, he's sleeping with the enemy and all kinds of stuff. And Jenn is like, I don't know why this girl keeps thinking I'm racist when everybody knows that I'm with you and we have Caitlyn and blah, blah, blah. And, Khan said in his confessional, he's like, you keep playing cards, and the cards that you playing, you throwing out jokers. And I'm like, damn, that is so true, because Rocky is just, to me, Rocky seems to be all bark, no bite. Because it just seemed like to me, every time she comes on the camera, she's just talking out the side of her ass. That's what it seems like to me. And it's like she was dead wrong for saying what she said to Jenn, and she was dead wrong for saying what she said to Cons. So like now, I mean, I know a couple of episodes ago, everybody felt like Jenn was being racist when she said the whole white thing. But if you do go back to the beginning of that episode, Rocky did start it off by talking about she needed a white woman to have the luxury of saying whatever the hell she wants, and Jenn could right her wrongs and all kinds of stuff. So Rocky did make it about race at first, and I guess Jenn took that and threw it back in her face. I get it now, so I understand. So, Jenn just feels like she kind of like feels like kicking herself for the simple fact that she thought that she didn't know that Rocky was this kind of person. She said she felt like she could have been a better judge of character. But it happens. We all befriend or be cool with people who's like no good to us, and we find out the hard way that they full of shit. It happens. It's happened to me many times. And I learned my lesson each time. So we get to the next scene, goes to Rich and his mother. And, he's getting some words of wisdom from her. And she's telling him, you need to leave her alone. She's crazy. She don't need a manager. She needs a psychiatrist. You don't need to be managing her. And he's like, his mom, she's like, instead of you putting all your time and effort into her, you got other artists who's been there from the jump that deserves your time just as much as she does. And from the looks of it, she don't need to be, she don't need to be your artist. Just leave her alone or whatever. And when she said that, I'm like, you right, because here you have Olivia, who's been in the game forever, trying to get a deal, trying to get up there, and it's like you putting her to the side because you and Erica sleeping together. So you got Erica in the forefront, and this girl thinking that you got her on some pedestal, and she's thinking that she's big, bad, and MF and bold, like. So his mom is like, nah, leave her alone. And if you got everybody in your ear telling you to leave her alone, then leave her alone. Especially your mama. Your mother knows best. I'm sure. She knows best. So we go to Jenn and Cons, and they're interviewing babysitters for Caitlyn. And the first babysitter they had, she looked like Drea to me. I don't know about y'all, but she looked like Drea to me. So they're interviewing sitters, and the first one, I'm gonna call her Drea. She had her boobs out, so it made Jen uncomfortable. The second one, she said that I think she said that she was a fashion designer or something, and she was fired, but she refused to tell why. So, Cons and Jim was like, well, we'll be in contact. The third one was some lady with a Jamaican accent. Like, that whole scene was just funny. And the fourth one, she looked like MIA, didn't she? Or was it just me? I don't know. So, basically, they didn't really decide on a babysitter. They were just like, we'll keep in contact with everybody. So, really wasn't much to that scene, but moving on. So, we go to Mendice's Yandy and Maurice, and they meet up, and Yandy is there to, listen to them, apologize, and bury the hatchet or whatever. So, Maurice is like, well, I don't know if I like you or not. And Mendice is like, you think I give a shit if you like me or not? I'm not apologizing to you to be your friend. I'm apologizing to make things right with my girl. And I'm like, hell yeah. But I'm like, how you gonna be mad at him for defending his girl? Like, that's stupid. You gonna be mad at him for defending his girl, even though Yandy felt like she ain't need no defending. But you was dead wrong to put them pictures up. Like, that was just stupid. So Caitlyn and Tahiri meet up. And, they meet up to talk about the fight that they had. And Tahiri is basically upset because Joe raps about her in all his songs. And he never, I'm pretty sure he never once asked about her, asked her permission. But he raps about her in songs or whatever. And she doesn't say anything about it. But it's like she wanted him on her record that was about him. And he had a problem with it. So she was upset with Caitlyn because Caitlyn basically influenced Joe's decision not to put her on the record. And, Caitlyn felt like, well, I just don't feel comfortable with him being on the record, whatever. I mean, they apologized to each other, but I'm a side with Tahiri because Caitlyn, okay, you're his girlfriend, you're there for him, you're this, you're that, but people just started seeing you. Like, we saw you on episode 1, but after that, we didn't really see you until, recent. And that's when, basically, I ain't really seen you until this episode. Not even this episode, when you first heard the song by Tahiri. So it's like all this time, Joe been calling Tahiri. They've been hanging out, and it wasn't a problem. So because she wants him on the record, now it's a problem. I don't get it. But okay, if y'all like it, I love it. Anyway, now we go to Winter and Yandy. They meeting up. And, she's talking about the book. And she's telling Yandy about her event. But she's also speaking to Yandy about possibly managing L'Oreal. So, Yandy is like, well, if she has potential and there's some talent there, then maybe I can manage her or whatever. So she said that she would go to the event. So then we go to Erica and Rich, and they're talking about the contract, and Erica's like, yeah, I still didn't sign it, but what's the problem? So, Rich is like, well, that's holding me back from managing you. Like, you gotta, what do you want to do? Like, what do you want? And, Erica's basically like, well, if you letting me go or whatever, I'm not going anywhere. So Rich is like, well, I gotta let you off the hook. So he basically broke up with her. So, he's basically like, we can't, the business and the personal is already too deep. It's like we already in too deep with it. So he feels like if he lets her go, maybe she could find better management. Maybe they could be together. Who knows? I'm so tired. I'm sorry. But, so they're speaking about that. And Rich feels like it's better for him to not manage her and not be with her, because that's what's making the whole situation difficult. But Erica is just a difficult individual anyway. So moving on. So we finally get down to the nitty gritty, and that's Winter's book event. So they get there, whatever. It's Yandy, it's L'Oreal, Jen was there, Who else? I saw a couple of other people, but it was Winter L'Oreal. It was Winter L'Oreal and Yandy. They're the main ones. So Winter unveils the cover to her book. The name of the book is Game Over. So she let everybody know that L'Oreal was there, and she's like, okay, I'm just gonna read a sample of her chapter. And the little paragraph that she read about L'Oreal was dead ass wrong. She talked about L'Oreal sleeping with men for free. How what else she said about L'Oreal? She said she was sleeping with men for free. L'Oreal said that she don't write her own rhymes. Just all kinds of bullshit and like betrayal. And if that's supposed to be your friend, how you gonna talk about her in a book? And then L'Oreal said as she was reading the book, it got worse and worse. So, she's reading the story and she went to her and she's like, why would you put some effed up shit? Well, if I said effed up, then I could say fuck. Why would you put something like that in a book? And it's not the truth. And Winter is like, well, I didn't lie. She said, yeah, you did. You said it there and said I don't write my own rhymes. That's a lie. So they basically, Winter just feels like she didn't do anything wrong. And she's like, well, legally, I don't have to ask you for your permission. And I'm like, wait a minute. When you write a book about somebody, or when you write a book and you put somebody's name in it without their permission, they can sue you. They can sue you because you didn't get their permission, and that's like defamation of character. They can sue you. If she'd have put, something about L'Oreal and changed the name, then maybe that would have been a different story. But if you're going to put somebody in a book and you're going to put their actual name, that's defamation of character, and that's a lawsuit. Winter is an idiot. So then, they talking about it some more, and Winter just basically had no remorse. Like, she just didn't care. And then she busted her ass, and I was like, yes, good for you, stupid bitch. Like, she just pissed me off. I don't like Winter. Like I said, I ain't like Winter since last season of Love and Hip Hop when she gave Emily that suck-ass advice. So, in the next episode, they further discuss the situation or whatever. So, I'll be vlogging about that next. So, look out for it. See you in a bit.